Welcome everybody. Thank you for inviting me on BIM Meets 2021. Unluckily, I can join you only from my balcony. You can see my beautiful pine tree behind me. That's all I can do for the travels today. For the invitation, my name is László Tőke, working for Graphisoft as an international sales manager, responsible for India and some other countries. Our mission at Graphisoft is empowering people to create great architecture. We do it with developing a tool called Archicad for over 30 years now, and during these 30 years we had many developments, and this is the year when we came up with the 25th version. It's a kind of a silver anniversary version of the product. So let's celebrate this moment. I want you to join us in the celebration, and I hope we can give you some really valuable information about us and the technologies. Well, since I'm not a BIM professional, I will not tell you the answer, but I'm sure Shivang and his crew knows the answer much more what BIM is in India. But what I can tell you from my international or our international experience, that BIM is a big business opportunity. It is already about a $4 billion industry, and analysts say that during the next couple of years it will grow about 15 to 20%. So it's a big train. It's a really big train that it's better not miss. Is a tool or the technology, that allows people to see the information and see everything about a building before it's built up. And this is very important. But we realigned our strategies in 2016. That was the time, so 5 years ago, when we contracted a new reseller, Dimension Plus. But the reason for the change was that we realized that what we need in India is a partner who is not only selling the software, who's not only an expert on sales and invoicing and taxation and so on, but also a very good expert on the technology. So we wanted to hire architects who knows the software, who can give really good support to the software, and we found this in the Dimension Plus. So Dimension Plus is a professional on both sides. That is why it's easy to work with them. That is why we are here today, actually, and that is why probably you are here today. So that was the reason we were looking for someone who can represent basically us on all the ways, not just on the sales side, but also the technical. Because in our setup, the partners are giving the support for the users in the countries. So it was very important that these guys can give you a massive support, and you don't need to search for the internet for something, but you can just rely on them. And actually, we found Dimension Plus a really good partner in that. Shivang himself is a certified BIM manager, certified by us. And also other guys inside the company are certified BIM managers. It's a great value. We're really proud of that your new Parliament district is built upon the technology we provide to HCP as one of our largest customers. But Vastu Shilpa is also with us for I don't even know for how many years, like 20 years. So we have really great and professional partners. Just like on the interior side, Jose Machitawala Designers Group is using our software heavily, and on the corporate interior side, Beyond Design is our best client. I would say Beyond Design was the first one who tried our BIM Cloud technology, and they are using it in India. So they are the most professional users in India, which we have quite a few in also other countries. I learned it from Shivang. You have to many times unlearn what you know before you learn a new technology, and this is quite true in terms of doing something totally different than before. But don't worry, it's not a very difficult task, because Archicad is a very intuitive software. So people say that within a month you can be a professional on Archicad. So don't be afraid. If you're a good architect, you will be a good Archicad user. So we plan to go further with Dimension Plus. There's no question about that. And I encourage you to call them, to work with them, and give them some job. They will help you. So thank you very much. I go and listen to all the presentations, and thank you for inviting again, and good luck for the rest of the program, and also for the whole year. Thank you. Goodbye.
Good evening, architects and interior designers. We welcome you all for BIM Meets 2021 by Dimension Plus. We have always believed, give designers reliable technology and they'll be designing incredible buildings. At Dimension Plus, we have our users at the center of everything that we do. Be it the technology that we bring for you, the support that we are providing, or the knowledge that we are sharing. Everything that enriches your work experience while designing and documenting your project, we are here to empower that. So recently, Graphisoft have released the latest version of Archicad, which is Archicad 25. And let's have a look on the common features that are part of Archicad 25. Can we have the AV, please? Stay tuned throughout the evening to know more about some continuous development that Archicad is following for last 35 years to answer your needs. Now let's kick into the Power Pack session, but before that, we would like to thank all our guests who have joined us live today. Throughout this evening, you are going to witness some interesting conversation about how technology and transition can help you for improved productivity and profitability with clear communication and collaboration within your team and external stakeholders. With this, let me invite our first guest for the evening today, Architect Khozema Chittalwala. He is Principal Architect and Founder of Designers Group. Architect Khozema Chittalwala is a renowned professional within the architecture and interior design industry in India. A leader and entrepreneur with over 30 years of experience, Architect Khozema is the forefront of hospitality design in India, having his design studio Designers Group located in Mumbai. Leading a pack of talented architects and interior designers at the firm, Architect Khozema is recognized for his striking vision, innovative solution, and experiential design, living up to his philosophy of comfortable yet stylish. I would like to welcome architect Khozema Chittalwala. Thank you, sir, for joining us for BIM Meets, and let's start the conversation, which is going to be really power packed like your personality. So Khozema sir, tell us, you being into hospitality interiors, how switching to Archicad has benefited your practice?
Shivang, the point is that design is becoming more and more complex as such. The thought process and imagination is something we used to sketch it out, that too not with the precision was in past. That is what we used to evolve our design and create our designs. But today, with the complexity which is growing in design, we have a tool by means of which we can actually visualize what our design and how it is shaping. And this is something which is giving us a benefit that we can adapt, we can change, we can improvise our designs as we keep on progressing. And this is something which is going to happen. This is something which is a fantastic tool which we have, which will help us in creating better and refined designs from day one.
That was really interesting to learn about your experience. So sir, my next question is, whenever I sit across design firms and we talk about this transition to BIM from 2D workflow, they feel it's very difficult process. How do you think your team has adapted to this change that you brought on table for them in your organization? How easy or how difficult it was to shift to BIM with Archicad from 2D workflows? And what are your feelings how Dimension Plus helped you achieve those transition days or transition changes?
So there are a lot of questions along with that. So I'll answer it to you step by step. Yes, the transition is the very difficult thing, because what is happening is that the era from which I have come, become an architect, our thought process was only a 2D visualization. It was in mind that we used to visualize in 3D. So we never thought about, and the designs were much more simple, probably 30-40 years back, which have now become very complex. So if I had to visualize a design, let's say for an example, talk about Zaha Hadid. If you have to visualize that kind of a complex design, I don't think so we can do it in a 2D. It has to be modeled in 3D. For my team, it was very, very difficult earlier stage, but we took the shot and we said we will have to migrate, because if not today, tomorrow it's going to become more difficult for us. We are a firm who does architecture and very large quantum of interiors. Having said so, our architectural projects, architecture team, it was easy for them to migrate to BIM, especially to Archicad. But when it came to interiors, the interior designers never thought about visualizing a project in 3D format. And it was a humongous task for me to explain to them, make them understand, and start that process. But to be honest, today the team which works on my BIM modeling in interiors for interior projects, they do some phenomenal work. It took us, this migration process took us some time, but I think so today that team does not want to go back to 2D, because they have realized the capabilities, the abilities, and the I would say the the power of 3D visualization while creating the design. They have realized that and they don't want to give away that power.
Thank you very much for that input, sir. Now moving on to next question. We all agree that designing first happens in the mind of a designer or on a sketchbook. How do you think Archicad as a software is helping you improve this design process or do this design process in a different way? In other words, how is it helping you translate your intangible ideas into tangible realities?
So, to be honest enough, for me, yet the paper and currently my iPad is my thought process. But yes, for my young team who is there, for them, translating my thought process, my sketches has become very, very easy. And then to visualize, and then for both of us to visualize. So I believe that yes, it's a great tool and investment which we have made. So probably in time to come, days to come, probably the proficiency or the efficiency in designing directly on Archicad will develop. It might take a little time, but I think so it will come. It will have to move there.
That's very enlightening to know, sir. Now my last question to you is your feeling about your association with Dimension Plus as a software partner for Designers Group.
We are happy working with Dimension Plus because we are happy. It says everything. They are efficient, they are perfect, they are available whenever, even at midnight, if you have something which is very critical, they have solutions for us. They support the support system which they have created over the period, online, offline, on-site. It's wonderful. It's wonderful.
Thank you for that, sir. Thank you very much. With this, let us invite our next guest for the evening, architect Ajay Tonpe. He is the founder architect at Beyond Design, a firm committed and dedicated to provide efficient and sustainable design solutions. Let me mention few of his works, which includes one of the finest architectural and interior design projects for promising and valued clients like Renault Nissan, Bharat Dynamics, Wipro, Accenture, Here Solution, Siska House, Saint Gobain, Bentley, Bits Pilani and many more. His utmost hard work and passion for designing, his idea of space planning and making holistic design solutions, an eye for details, and most importantly, his deep research about the right technology for him and his firm makes him stand out. Recently, Beyond Design has been selected as a finalist for Project Prize Line for SBID International Design Award in London. I would like to welcome architect Ajay Tonpe. Thank you, Ajay sir, for joining us for BIM Meets. I'm sure it's going to be a very good conversation with you this evening. And I will start with the most simple question for you, and that is, tell us all what motivated you to shift to Archicad. What was your team's response during those days when you first thought of shifting to Archicad?
For us, actually, to tell you, one of our clients pushed us to the BIM, and myself was also reluctant to move because pre-notions. I tried working on one of our BIM software, and I found too boring technical software, so I didn't go with a BIM path. And then when one of our client pushed me, I got in touch with Dimension Plus because I had heard about Archicad as a platform. I had fiddled it, I went on net, I saw their videos, I found it, okay, looks like architect friendly, visualize it, because I always think in perspective sketches and everything, and that shows me some glimpses, okay, I'm able to move that, and which earlier software I was not able to. So I had a discussion with him first, what is the software? He gave me the confidence. He's there. Because yes, when I was earlier organization, I was knowing systems were failing. There were many reasons, because first thing is important, decision maker has to take a call. If he's going to go with a BIM way, he has to make sure he has to know the software so that he can tell his juniors or his team members, yes, this is the way, and he has to solve their problem, because they are going to be under tremendous pressure. So what we did is, first is a mind conditioning. We played lot of videos about them with team. So told them the people who are actually architects, the architects who are working on design, they understood properly. Yes, BIM is the way. The people who are actually doing the production of drawings, earlier they were 2D drawings, so it's just a draftsman's kind of work. They were reluctant to understand why this. So a lot of videos discussing, we used to have meetings in this particular room and talking why to shift on this. What can be the problem? What can be? So there was a one answer used to come. So there will be a delay in deliverables. I gave them confidence. I'm there. I'll take care of that delays. We will be working. Trust me, there won't be any delays, but if any delays, we'll take care of. That gave the confidence to my team. Okay, then we will work. So then with Dimension Plus, we had an extensive training. And that training, I was a part of that training. Because BIM language, to get a 2D guy, it becomes difficult because his visualization is always in those plans and sections and elevation. He never thought of elements. Especially interior designers and draftsmen, they have a problem. Architect understand, but trust me, after a period of years working with a 2D, we end up losing that sense of elements. So when the training started, I was there and getting those architectural language back to this team, becoming an interpreter, telling them this is the block, ये lines नहीं है, अभी ये walls है. So being in an interior industry, again those things, where are these, how am I supposed to make a table and all, getting their visualization with the element and those things. Okay, table can be made using those slabs and columns, so you have to use these elements as a visualizer. That, I think it happened within those 10 days. Then I think team was, got pretty comfortable. Then it's a matter of understanding technology. My team is very good in terms of adapting any technology because I always push them with the technology. So they adapted the technology, lot of training session happens. We made mock-up models. We decided, okay, now this output is happening. And one fine day we had a meeting over there and we decided, okay, next project onwards, we are moving on a BIM. And 2D workflow is going to be completely out of our office. So people were stressed. Again, everybody knows that question came, half work this, half work. I said, no. Everything either has to be on BIM or nothing. So take it or leave it. And I'm going on a BIM, so you guys have to. My team responded very well. They said, okay, so we'll try. I said, yes, you try, I'm there. And that is the day where we moved on the BIM. Was a little difficult, but Dimension Plus was there with smaller problems. Videos are there, online help is there, live data is there, so there is no issue. I think within 2 months, we completely managed to shift over the BIM. There was no 2D data with us. And first 2 projects we may spend in terms of suppose 2D work, if I have 100% time, I spend around 120% extra time for first 2 projects. But then we came to 100%. Now after 3 years, 4 years of practice, if I check, for me, my office, it's around 70, 60% or 40% time I save compared to 2D work for a complete design. But whenever there are changes, I save much more time. Because whenever there is iterations of design happens from client, and that is a part of interiors. And trust me, it happens in middle of, you're done with your complete documentation, tender has gone, working drawing stages happen, client takes the changes, comes up with the idea of change. And that is where 2D somehow we used to take more time. Here, it's just for me, I take a design decision on that, change that thing, my documentation. We have a set of workflow by which my documentation does it becomes automation. we save a lot of time. When those kind of things happen, we save further another 30 to 40% time. So that's why this particular BIM is helping us in there. We took around, now it's a 4th year. Now any of my organization guy, if I ask him, if I don't give you, I go back to 2D, no. Currently I'm working associated with one architectural firm. We are doing a collaboration. They are on 2D platform and we are on a BIM platform. We are finding tough to collaborate with them. They are wasting a lot of time. So now we are asking them, better you move to BIM platform. We are right now working, getting their design and converting into BIM, and we are giving them a faster output. So that's how the BIM is helping us in a long way.
That is something really different approach that you adopted, and I think it can help a lot of offices to go ahead in this direction. Moving on, please share with us what are the benefits that you are seeing today with Archicad.
Currently also when the team is doing space planning and all, our sketches starts happening. Sketches are not going to go away. They are going to be there. Either in elevations, elevation is going to be there. We need to, for proportions on paper, we have to work. But once we do that, then I pass it on to my design development team, architects who are working with me. Earlier they used to be only on paper, those ideas. When they try to put it on a drawing board, they never used to understand those proportions, why I draw. Human being is there, proportion is there. But now when they are putting into that 3D model, entire design process with that map, they're easily able to, in Archicad, when I'm getting this particular model inside that, that my sketch is getting in Archicad, it's quick. And first thing, whatever we are drawing as a first sketch also, we are drawing with the elements. So actual space we are drawing, whatever we are converting into sketch, it's actually coming into partial sketch. We are not completing. Still everything is generic, but still proportion, heights and everything is correct. Once we render everything, we see, okay, this output is correct. Then it just moves to a production by changing to getting into the BIM, whatever those properties of walls, information we want to put, documentation, it automatic. So earlier what used to happen, we used to use software called SketchUp. So our design used to be on the SketchUp, but 3D Max and team used to work on that thing. If you know, in our country, most probably architects doesn't take this as a professional field. It's basically people who learn the 3D Max and they learn that. What they do, they never work on my sketch with that, understanding of spaces and proportion. They take the sketch and copy and give me what I want. But in reality, I am saying I'm not that great proportion. There may be a mistake in my proportions. But if you do in this BIM modeling initial element using that, your proportions will be correct. We used to fail earlier, proportion is correct, but when I used to be final my working going, ye to galat ho gaya. So we used to go back, change the proportion. So those used to be a little mistake. Now that is taken, completely gone out of the window because of the BIM. Now initial sketches gets into Archicad. Quickly my rendering software is also equipped to get its element quickly, and within an hour they give me my sketch into model. We take a VR tool and take. So my entire team now started doing that. They sketch. If they think there is something wrong, they go to the drawing board in BIM, make the model, show it to me, take the sections and out of it. So they spend hardly any time on that drafting tool, more of a thinking on design and colors and proportions and everything. So that's helping us a lot. So more of a design, less of documentation is happening now.
I think that actually sums up the entire benefit argument about BIM and Archicad. So that's really covering the entire process or benefit of the process. Now please tell us, how are you using BIM and Archicad for collaboration with various consultants and contractors and vendors, as well as communicating with your clients through BIMmeets?
First time when we got into Archicad, first project I given a set of GFCs on a print. That time we, in the training only from Shiva Dimension Plus team, we had understood the potential of BIMmeets. I said, this is my tool, because on site also, whenever we send our GFCs, we always have a workshop in our office. We show our design to entire team, to contractor. I'm talking about execution phase, design phase and design development with client also. We interact with client with these 3D views and everything. BIMmeets is the tool which helped us, to have a better interaction and connect with the contractor, to the client also. Now I just carry my iPad, my design gives my team, or we complete our design in Archicad. Without rendering, I don't need renders. I carry, because BIMmeets output is more of a architect's output. There is a sketch mode and all those things. Presentation I do myself now. I don't need PPTs and all. So carry that iPad, connect to client, walk into the space with client, and they themselves, take the decision immediately. Earlier, in corporate interior, there are certain decisions are taken with the top management. Top management is going to give me a time of say 10 minutes or half an hour max. And if that they don't like, they will ask me, okay, come after a month, then time is lost. So BIMmeets just show on a screen, or sometimes we used to do virtual reality with the Archicad. Take the decisions, show on the screen, walk into the space. Client knows, okay, this is our space. They will give the changes. They know, they also perceive that space. They talk about that space, and decision can happen within that 10 minutes. So I don't lose. And sometimes, for project that is very, very important. So client side, this was a major help from BIMmeets side. Second thing, when it's to come to a now execution phase. Some of my critical designs through 2D elevations or details, it's very difficult for contractor to understand. And we all know some contractor, actual labor or these things, technologically or technically they can read the drawings. For them, if I give a sketch or a 3D visualization, they understand much better way. So BIMmeets is a great help for them. We experimented in our own design build projects where, we didn't give any drawing on site. We documented the entire project, 3D model. We gave an iPad on site. We gave three iPads on site. They were a little hesitant initially, but afterwards they themselves, I told, game khilna. So they started moving around the drawing model. They understood the spaces. They understood how to go back to drawings, refer the drawing, come back into the model, and they executed the entire project. In fact, my project management team told me they were hesitant. They were saying this is not possible, they won't be able to use. But in fact, contractor came and told me, सर ये और अच्छा है, ये मेरे लिए और अच्छा है कि मेरे को कोई प्रॉब्लम ही नहीं है, चेंजेस भी होते हैं, सर कुछ चेंज भेजते तो मेरे पास आ जाता है. So that's gave me a boost ki, okay, this is going to work. So we stuck to it. We convinced project management teams with whoever we working. We partnered them. We educated them. They also understood. Now they are understanding. We are collaborating in that. So collaboration with our contractor, project management team, and with our client is BIMmeets is important element in our workflow. So there is no other word. We can't. If BIMmeets would have been there, our BIM platform would have been again in a 2D booklet. Now it's a pure 3D model for my execution team also. Data taking out of that model, taking dimension. We all know that is very much possible. And my contractors are proficient using that. They use this basic phone to use that. I think the best thing happened that couple of years back when BIMmeets came up with their faster engine. And that's where all contractors were, because earlier they used to say, so iPad use lena zaruri hai kya, iPhone chahiye kya? And now it is like, okay, on their basic phone also they are calling me, they're taking screenshot.
That's really a meaningful insight about your entire process, and especially the way you explained that how you are saving lot of paper by using BIMmeets even for construction on site. So that's something which actually gives you the title that you are energy conscious that way. Now, can you please highlight how Archicad has been a important tool for your practice to be more profitable with all these technological benefits and improvements? How is it making your practice more profitable?
Still, being a designer by mind, my first profit is less errors in the project, less time putting on that particular time, in the sense documentation time. I always used to hate time taken in the documentation. I'm saving that time, means my manpower is saved. Definitely that adds to my profit. As on side, the most important is my side as a project specific profit, what we look into. If we have a BIM implementation, the way we are using Archicad, my estimation is earlier we used to be very proud to say that the estimation generally we take 5% plus and minus. We used to work on 3%. Now we are coming to 2% or 1% contingency we are keeping. So that itself for a client, they know that their cash flow is going to be intact. When I'm giving one X price to client based on my final design, that is going to be there. It is not going to change. So that itself is a big thing. And time saving for a contractor. When contractor is taking now for a quoting, if a contractor is quoting for the project, I give a BIMmeets to him. He visualizes the entire project through that, and when he's quoting, he knows what exactly this element is going to be, how it is. So he plans this thing and he puts the right price over there. Earlier, just seeing a 2-day drawing, it's very difficult to put a price. He may go losses, or he put a high price. Now that also, they put a correct price because of that. That itself also a profit to a contractor. So if you see, as all the stakeholders with the BIM flow, everybody is getting into profit. Now profit, when you are talking about money, yes, definitely there. Time, yes, it is there. Quality wise, yes, it is there. Design wise, as an architect, design quality and these things, that is my profit. So overall, having a BIM part is going to be a profit.
That is something very good to know for all of us, and I think it is one of the reasons to move on to BIM for all the offices that are moving today and that will move in the future. Sir, now can we just have any comments from your side about your association with Dimension Plus?
I think the most important thing, Dimension Plus team, is first thing they are architects and they are practitioners. So they know whether he is sitting on the other side of my table, he is already practiced. So he knows our pain points. So whenever we have financial crunch, taking SSAs and all some financial, the flexibility what we get from them, we never had any problems in terms of, getting financial issues or my license didn't get renewed on time. So those flexibilities are there. The prices always were competitive, so I never had any issues in terms of, my prices are going high and all those things. If it is going to be higher for particular, he sounds me, he calls me, hey, next time this particular price may go high. So look at it how you want to do. So I always then end up doing, 3 years SSA and all those things. Definitely he comes up and tells us in advance, it helps us, manage my workflow, my cash flow. So that definitely helps in terms of, he helping in Archicad, he is not a sailor, who is sailing a software and going and taking money and next time coming and SSA lo nahi to band ho jayega and those kind of thing. He is a partner to us. He's our member. So he knows how we are going to, go ahead. So I always express my plans to him. He also tells me, sometimes this time I was deciding, talking with you, and that time you told me I was not ready to take a SSA because of this particular financials. But the insight what you gave, what can happen, and I trust you, because of that I went ahead with the SSA. But again, you helped me in this financials. Thanks to that, and I managed to. And luckily, I paid also. So that's another story. But yeah, but it helps me. So I think any software which is related to BIM, I definitely always come to you. We discuss. We know the pros and cons, and based on that, we go ahead. So I blindly follow your advice when it comes to BIM because you are specialized. You know much more in terms of technical aspect of it, and we apply. And then that second part comes to us. But initially, to make decision, your knowledge about that particular thing helps. So always I tell my other friends also, whenever you want to buy Archicad, buy from you because very important. Person who is having a hands-on experience is important, not just selling a license and who doesn't know. Because I remember my earlier team, I used to buy softwares from other companies, and that time my team used to get stuck, hardware issues or software there are some issues. They used to log in those tickets, no answers. Guys used to come. Whenever we used to talk those technically, we used to understand he doesn't know head or tail. We used to say we'll figure it out. Then Google Baba ki jai. So my team used to be on Google, talk, get into forum and find. But I used to waste a hell of a time. Now at least I know there is something called, we have a WhatsApp group. In that thing we come and just talk. He may not be knowing answer, at least he used to put something, ki okay, yahan jaake dekho, just check somewhere here. And my team used to search and we used to find us. Now I don't think we have any major issues where we have to always. It's only we can say 4 months we troubled him a lot, and afterwards I think we are our own now.
Thank you very much for that, sir. In fact, last 4 years we have truly enjoyed working with you on your various requirements or your processes, your questions very closely. And it was really a great opportunity to work with you as well as your team. Thank you so much. With this, let us invite our next guest for the evening, architect Malay Doshi. Malay is a partner at Studio Saransh, Ahmedabad. Being the son of 2 architects, Malay has grown up to admire good design. The need for a well-scripted overall experience of space has become quintessential to his notion of existence. His journey through academics in architecture at CEPT University have made him very conscious about the treatment of materials and their impact on people. At the same time, brief spells at Zurich and Madrid made him understand how the use of those materials could dictate form and its details. Design to him is not just one thing or another, but a swill of constantly changing combinations of many. A lot of these changes come from his need to explore and read new things, which then circles back to contrasting ideas for different projects. In his mind, a design practice is less about the success of a particular project, but more about developing a consistent but exploratory body of work. Currently a partner at Saransh, he is using these experiences to formulate a fresh direction for this 27-year-old practice. Thank you, Malay, for joining us. Let's dive in. The world is moving very fast in terms of digital adoption or technology adoption. What is your take in terms of technology benefits with Archicad for your organization?
I think it's great to see a completely new method of documentation, because since years and years, at least in India, it has been very focused on drafting, whether it was manual or in the computers. And this sort of just lets us design because there is, again, a technology that is doing that for you. And I think what that allows us is to focus on what we are best at, which is actually coming up with new answers to relevant questions, and helps us create more time to sort of resolve things better rather than just continuously communicate what we have resolved.
That was really interesting insight to know about. Moving on, now my next question for you is, how do you think Archicad has made your team more productive? How is it helping your team to be more productive, more fast in terms of workflows?
Again, in the beginning, it wasn't as visible because it took time for us to develop a file which helps us. Because any software, I don't think, will just start helping you directly. But once that was developed, and I think it took us a year to come up with that template. But once it was developed, I think our productivity rate just doubled. So for example, we have a certain fixed sets of walls that we use. Maybe there are 5 types or 6 types. And just using them quickly while making a form that isn't very orthogonal, let's say. I think that helped us a lot as compared to drafting 2 lines manually along that path. So that is just one very small idea. The other thing is, of course, touching on revisions. So the kind of manner that me and my team sort of work with this software is we always talk about making the building. We are not making plans, we are not making any other representational format. We are making the building. And this software allows you to do that. You make the building like it's actually going to be built. If you've done that, everything else is just going to happen. So if while making the building there's a revision, you just do that small thing and everything else is just going to update. So it's obviously more productive in that sense.
That is really nice to know. And let us know how we can make it even more faster or more productive. Now Malay, tell us how you envision this technology moving ahead with your workflow, your organization in future. So what are the things that you have planned for future with Archicad and how you are going to use it even more, even better?
I think with more and more time, the studio as a whole, as a collective embodiment of knowledge, is getting better at using this software, because even though it's been such a long time, we're still improving. Just recently, we completely upgraded the entire template format and all. So the next thing that now that we are at, I think with with normal designs, we are at par with it. We are fast with it. We know how to use it. But to become more productive with a little abnormal designs is what we are aiming to achieve next. So to expand, maybe we are looking at exploring Rhino Grasshopper lightnings more, because documentation of those projects is much more difficult. We've tried a couple, we've still not been completely successful with it. I mean, the line link with Archicad. So that is sort of our next aim, along with developing more GDL tools and objects and so on. So to summarize, I think what I would say is that we're there, but not yet there.
That was nice to know. Let's arrange a workshop on Rhino Grasshopper Archicad live connection for your team, and probably that will help you achieve whatever you have planned to achieve even faster. Now tell us, I mean, we all know that every businesses want to be profitable in today's time. After post-pandemic, it's even more hitting us hard to be profitable. Design firms also would want to be profitable, I am sure. Can you share your tips, your tricks to master the art of how Archicad as a software or BIM as a technology can play an important role for any organization in terms of achieving a better profitability?
As of now, we've not really thought of that factor, because what has happened for us, me and my team, is that we have of course generated a lot of time by using Archicad and reducing production time, as we talked before. But currently we are using all of that time to keep innovating. So every project that we're doing, we spend that much more amount of time in research, that much more amount of time in actually coming up with something. And in the end, for practices like ours, it is all about billable hours. So billable hours have been more or less the same. So it hasn't really affected us right now, but because we are innovating, I think that increases our reach and hence grows business, and so it is helping indirectly.
Wow, that's right. That's true. I mean, today everyone knows that time saved is money earned. So that's really insightful. That it's a different way of looking at this. That even with BIM, even if you save your lot of time, you can probably invest back into the project, or that's another way of looking at profitability.
I guess so. I don't know if they're better or not. That is for people to judge. But at least for us, we are always happy doing something new every time. So in that sense, there is a larger library or gamut of work that we are trying every time, because there is that time to do it.
Thank you so much for your words, and it will help us, it will inspire us to be more on our feet to help you all professionals. And it is actually in line with our purpose, our mission. We believe that giving reliable technology to design professionals will help them designing incredible buildings. So thank you for those words. Thank you. It's time to have another video about Archicad 25 new feature, and this time we are going to focus about productivity improvement. So how this new set of tools will improve your productivity even further. Let's have a look at the video. Can we have the AV please?
When architects work on complex BIM projects, it's essential that they can instantly find, identify, select, and zoom into any building element across all views to select the element they need. Use Archicad's multiple features and commands to easily find and select elements. Show selection or marquee in 3D. Show all in 3D. Find and select. Filter and cut elements in 3D. 3D cutaway. Keep track of selected elements when switching between 2D and 3D views without having to reselect them thanks to new and improved commands. In this example, we'll check the selected opening in 3D. Right-click on it and activate the Select in 3D command. The 3D window keeps the element selected. Control element visibility and speed up your workflow when working with overlapping elements in 3D by hiding selected elements. This will make other items more visible without hiding their layers or modifying layer combinations. Simply right-click on the element you want to hide and choose the Hide Selection command. Save this custom view for later if you want. Now let's select a pipe and use the Select on Floor Plan command. The floor plan window instantly shows a close-up of the selected element in its environment. Use the Show All command to unhide the hidden elements and return to the original 3D view. Use this functionality in sections, elevations, and interior elevations as well. Track selected elements in any view, 3D or floor plan. Save time and navigate more easily between views and use multiple, flexible options to control element visibility. To learn more about Archicad, visit graphisoft.com.
With this, let's invite our next guest for the evening, architect Aparajita Basu. She is the principal architect of the firm Trans Architecture, which was founded by her in the year 2002. She is currently adjunct associate professor at Faculty of Design, CEPT University, Ahmedabad, and has been teaching since 2016. Her area of interest is design process, methods, and architectural history theory. She has worked with Pritzker Prize laureate Professor B.V. Doshi at Vastushilp Consultants as a project architect for the IMAX Theatre Ahmedabad as well as Manisha House, Baroda. She has worked on the Petronas Towers designed by Cesar Pelli in Malaysia for a brief internship before leaving for the University of Michigan for a master's program. She was awarded the Masters of Architecture in the year 1999. She is also managing trustee of Das Foundation, an NGO that runs Sathi Night School for underprivileged children in Sector 21, Gandhinagar. Hello ma'am, thank you for joining us for BIM Meets, and let's begin the conversation about your experiences with Archicad. Let's start with my first question for the day. Ma'am, since you shifted on Archicad almost a decade back, I am sure you will have a very different insight about the importance of technology for architecture practice. Can you please share your views with us? What is the future of technology for architecture interior design practice in India, according to you?
But a message to the future generations, definitely they have to kind of adapt to technology. Right now with the pandemic situation, that's what we've seen, that people, I mean, it has forced people to kind of embrace technology and find, ways of working when we've not been able to kind of meet face to face. Technology is what has kind of taken us to different places while sitting in one room. So I think definitely I don't think the future of architecture is possible without technology. The future is BIM, so there's no question about that.
So ma'am, my next question for you is, now in continuation of this, can you tell us why one should switch to BIM from 2D workflow and what are the benefits of that? A really interesting thing that I want to know is about your design process. So how Archicad as a software, as a BIM software, is helping you smoothening your design process, or how it has changed your design process, or how it is enhancing your design process?
Well, actually the nature of the software is such that there is very little room for errors in drawings, because over the years, I think the software has become more sophisticated. So if you're making a revision, it automatically gets transferred through your plan sections, elevations, and through the entire set of drawings. So it's not as cumbersome as it used to be, where you have to kind of go through each kind of drawing and then make the changes, and then you forget the team member has missed out something and there's an error on site. So I think those kind of processes have become completely streamlined. And also today I find that one person is doing the job of 4 people because of the it's a fantastic software. So it just takes much less time to kind of complete a set of drawings for one project than it ever used to. So it's definitely much better now.
That's something new to know about. I think that can be again something from which everyone can learn. And now let's come to my most common question for all the guests who have joined us today or who are going to join us today. What is your feeling about your association with Dimension Plus as your software partner?
For me, it was when I kind of decided that I was going to use that as the main software for all my projects. The reason why I chose that is that I found out that it is designed by architects, it is for architects, it is marketed by architects, and the entire team has an incredible knowledge about our profession before they actually kind of develop the product and sell it. So and that just makes our life very easy, because that the team that is kind of supporting you to kind of get your projects done is already also kind of very much in tune with the practices of internationally. They have international standards for the features that the software has, and it also kind of helps your practice kind of meet international standards. I have ever reached out to the Dimension Plus team and not got a response within 15 minutes, if not immediately. So I think Dimension Plus has a fantastic team in place. And I think when we use complex softwares like this, if you don't have that team supporting you, it would have been a bigger challenge. And our ease and our, the ease of using the software is all thanks to the team that has kind of supported us over the years. Wherever we found roadblocks or hurdles, they've come in immediately and helped us overcome them. So I think for any software that you use, I think that is an incredibly important aspect, because without that support, it would get quite difficult. You need to, it's technology. There are constant upgrades, there are constant new products in the market, and you need a team that's going to support you through it.
That's really nice of you to say those words for us, for our team. Thank you very much for that. So now it's time to have a look at another new feature video, which is going to be focusing on your design and documentation processes. Let's have a look at the video. Can we have the AV please?
Create stunning professional design presentations without workarounds thanks to Archicad's powerful out-of-the-box presentation tools. Apply the same high-resolution surface textures on 2D views that you already use in 3D. In this example, the surfaces are represented with the Surface Color Fill option. Let's see how we can make this view more appealing by using the enhanced settings under the Model Appearance section. Apply the non-shaded surface Texture Fill option. In addition to the stone cladding, wooden, concrete, and other surfaces, the glazed curtain wall is also worth experimenting with. It applies a texture with an image of the cloudy sky. Apply soft shading and vectoral cover fills on top of the textures to create spectacular sections and elevations. Create a sense of depth by fading distant parts of the building. Draw attention to what's important in the foreground by checking the Fade Distant Elements checkbox. Select the Shaded Texture Fill option and turn on the shadows. For an even more restrained view of the background elements, display the distant elements with no textures and shadows, but with their contours only. Create vivid interior elevations with realistic details using the same presentation tools. Customize the direction of the sunlight to apply the most appropriate shadows. Use surface-based fills to heighten the look of your design documentation. Access and apply surface textures using fills. Choose the surface type fill and select one of the 3 surface-related display options: color, cover, or texture fill. Modify the alignment of the pattern as you would with any other fill. Use the surface type fills to experiment with and present multiple design options in various sections, elevations, and floor plans without changing the elements themselves. Create high-impact design documentation with Archicad's powerful out-of-the-box presentation tools. To learn more about Archicad, visit graphisoft.com.
With this, let's invite our last guest for the evening, architect Zonke Hoof. He's an architect practicing in Ahmedabad. Born in 1974, he was brought up and educated in Germany. He trained and worked as a carpenter before studying architecture, which formed his understanding of details and sense of materials. As a partner of Vastushilp Consultants, he is working on various scales of projects ranging from residential to institutional. Together with his wife Khushnu Patanki Hoof, he founded Studio Sangaat, a multidisciplinary partnership focusing on furniture and interior design, publications and curation of exhibitions and art shows. His work has been published nationally and internationally in books and magazines. Thank you, Zonke, for joining us today. My first question for you is, when did you started using Archicad, and what do you feel the industry stands today in terms of technology adoption?
The core team is pretty used to it now. I mean, also me as one of the partners. And drafting partners, I would say, really who use the software themselves. Of course, Doshi, he doesn't use that. So he is then happy if he sees something in 3D. But the potential of what really comes out of that I'm the one who is interested in those things. So then when we get fresh grade architects or architects who've worked with some experience from somewhere else who have not used BIM, it's a little challenging to make them understand of the real importance of how you make a model with layer combinations and the whole thing. Because the better your model, the better your output. So the modeling discipline is sometimes challenging. We try with templates and favorites as much as possible, but then one has to keep a little tight rein that not everyone is cooking their own modeling soup. So you get a proper output from the model which you want, and you don't need to solve minor problems here, there, like locally. So if you had a proper template in the beginning with proper fabric, any idiot can make a proper Archicad model, I think. If you have set it up from the beginning and you put it together, it's really not rocket science. I feel it's really simple. That's the whole beauty of it. That you don't need to think too much while you model. So it's really building a virtual house, and that time which you save on modeling that, you can actually use for designing. So I think one apprehension which some people say, with that 3D and then it kills your design process and everything is like in that box. I don't really see that, because it's just about optimization of a process which was anyways there. So we still do physical 3D hand models of cardboard, clay, whichever materials were used or are used by others. That is still happening. So design development happens on computer as well as physical parallel. But then shifting from the physical into the 3D, then immediately have a feedback on the model, even from the beginning, you can generate quantities, cost of the building. As I tried brushing on that before, like you make your model, you do your sketches, and then when you build your 3D model, you get immediate feedback on what will happen in plan and sections. And you have a better, more precise idea of what is going to happen. One thing also is often what I've realized is when I struggle to make the model, that is then also where in real life I might have really problems in getting it constructed, because if I can't model it in a easy, straightforward way, someone is going to have a real problem on site as well. So their struggle is it's like a red light already in a way. Then of course people say, no, I can only make straight things, but now the modeling freedom with also integration of Rhino, if one wants, with live integrating of that software, I don't think there are any limitations. Whatever you can think of, you can make in a way. And then personally, I'm not a big fan of parametrics, but I have never thought that the software is limiting what I want to do, or limiting my design process or something. And still sketch. Why would I not do that? In the end, things come out of your hands. Your hands think part of your design. So that, of course, you don't give away. You do that, and then anyway someone is drafting it. So instead of drafting it, you make a 3D model where you again get a better feedback of what you're trying to do. Then if someone draws from your sketch a section, let them make a model out of it, which is then in 3D, virtual.
I think that was an eye-opener for every one of us who are the other side of not using BIM. Zonke, my next question for you is, tell us how Archicad as a software fitting in your design process, your entire way of working.
Every project has revisions somewhere. If you have your software is 2D based, or if you think about the old age where everything was hand drafted and you make one revision, you have to take all your tracing sheets and do scratching, and then you have to, one revision might have an impact on 20-25 drawings. And then you have to go through each and every drawing in between, because one drawing might be not at the right place. You forget scratching that, and then that error gets forwarded somewhere to site. Same with 2D. You still have to say, okay, this is affecting this is affecting this is affecting this is affecting this. And you have to manually go through that, a very tedious work where someone just sits, and while he's sitting, he will make mistakes. If you make that revision, that's a window opening size, for example. You shift it up or move it, and BIM immediately changes everything. I mean, you don't even need to think. It's just, okay, I do it, and then it's done. And you just publish your revision, and it's over. So it's instant.
That is really an insightful approach to know about. Let's move on to next question. It's really enlightening to know how Archicad has helped you. Can you speak on how it is helping you in terms of communication and in terms of communicating your design ideas to your clients?
BIM 1, if you think about clients love that BIMmeets software on that app on their iPad, and it's like you of course we still do models, but they're so happy if you just, when you give it to them, you send it to them by email or even on WhatsApp or whatever, because you can't always send them, like during pandemic also, you can't send them a physical model, but that 3D model, it was so convenient to just, and then you keep updating that. And then they see, and they feel really involved because they can go through it and they can look at things. Sometimes they take a little too literal. That can also be dangerous. And is this really of this color, or this like this? But of course, you can add whatever detail you want, but they feel very happy that they can already see it. Then the same also, of course, is useful if you try to explain more complicated things to consultants or to contractors or to vendors. So it's just, I mean, the human is a visual being. So the more you can see in 3 dimensions, it just makes things easier.
That's really good to know how you have taken Archicad to even your clients and how they are enjoying your design communication through BIMmeets. Thank you for your time, Zonke. Wow, I think it was an insightful conversation with all our guest speakers sharing their experiences, how Archicad as a technology and Dimension Plus for transition have helped them to achieve better productivity and profitability through enhanced communication and collaboration. I think with that thought, let's move on to questions from the audience. Can we have the first question, please? So the question we have is, we are an interior design firm wanting to switch to BIM but hesitant. Can you tell us how we can transit smoothly? I think it's a very interesting question, especially when we had two great architects today with us who are primarily focusing on interior designing, and they are on Archicad happily. So let me answer this question in a very practically possible way. So at Dimension Plus, we take care of your entire process, which starts from having a demo of the software Archicad, providing you licenses, giving you training and implementation. Having said this, when you contact us for your transition to BIM with Archicad, rest assured that our product experts will take care of your entire journey, and we will make sure that your transition to BIM is smooth with all our support and services. Apart from this, we also take care of your questions or queries post implementation of Archicad at your office through our support portal, as well as we have made training materials for all our users. When you hire a new talent on board, you can contact us and we open this training portal for your new team members who are probably great designers but don't know Archicad. So they can log into our training portal and go through a very comprehensive training and quickly learn Archicad and use your office template, and very smoothly you can transit them also on Archicad. Now let's get to our second question for the day. The question is, how is Archicad different from other BIM software? I think this is the classic question that I keep getting during all the conversations, online or offline, during all the meetings, all the emails that I receive from those who are interested to switch to BIM. And there is this discussion can go endless, but to keep it short and sweet, let's consider that BIM is a process and Archicad is one such software which helps you to do that process. As far as differences are concerned, so the first and the biggest difference is Archicad is a software designed by architects. You will witness this as soon as you open the software for the first time and see the user interface. The graphical input that the software gives you will prove my point that this is a software designed by architects. Another big difference between other BIM software and Archicad is a software which runs on Mac and Windows, both the operating systems, as a rental and perpetual, both the license types. And on top of that, you have our constant support with you when you switch to Archicad. So these are the major differences. I mean, if you want to compare product to product, feature to feature, let's have a meeting and let us come to your office and explain it to you how we are better or different compared to other BIM softwares. I think let's switch over to the next question. We have downloaded Archicad trial earlier but couldn't explore much. Can you tell us how you can help us this time? I think this is really interesting question, and many of you will be looking for this answer because according to our data, more than 3,000 trials are downloaded every year for Archicad in India, West and South alone. Now, let me answer this question from a technical point of view. See, my own experience says that when you download a trial of any software, usually it's a time-bound process. So let's say Archicad gives you 30-day trial. Now what happens is during those 30 days, you download and install Archicad and something or the other pops up and you forget that you have already applied and downloaded the trial. And in 99% of the cases, what will happen is you will realize that, oh, I have only 5 days left in my trial, and you will try to do trial on one of the weekends when there is less workload or something like that. And eventually you will form an opinion that no, this software is not for me. This is not the right approach. The right approach is, and you should start it from day one. As soon as you decide to trial 30-day Archicad license, your first step should be contact Dimension Plus, and our implementation specialists will share with you a template which we have made for Indian users. This template has all the settings which will be used or which will be useful for you as architects or interior designers practicing in India. This will give you a very satisfactory result from day one in terms of getting your drawing as per Indian standard, or seeing building materials within Archicad which are used in India, or seeing the entire experience of Archicad. You will feel that it's an Indianized version of Archicad. So contact us for the very generic Indian template which can be used by you during your trial. Apart from this, when you contact us, don't forget to register for our support portal where you can raise your question even during trial, and our support team will answer those questions and help you move through in your trial journey. And I think this is the way to go for trial of any software. You cannot just, there are 3 stages with any technology: knowing, playing and exploiting. And if I see iPhone in many users' hands and they don't know what the actual use or what are the true feature of iPhone. They have to go through it, they have to understand. So you also have to go through it, you have to feel the benefits, you have to see the entire journey, how things happen. So please contact us for demo, for your support question during trial, and also for template which is done for you by our team. Let's get to the next question. I'm a student of architecture. How can I explore Archicad? Wow. Let me give you a very good information. Archicad is free for students, teachers, and even institutes. That means you can download Archicad free of cost in your laptop, your teacher's laptop, or your computer lab's computers. What you need to do is go on myarchicad.com, apply for student version, and you will receive an email from Dimension Plus asking for your student ID card. As soon as you share your student ID card, your 1-year student license will be approved within 7 working days, and post that time you can again renew your license. Our team may ask you for a renewed student ID card, but that's just a process. You can continue using student version of Archicad till you remain student. And to tell you more about this, every year 6,500 students download Archicad student version. I think that will give you enough inspiration to explore the BIM world with Archicad. Let's move on to our next question. How much time do we need to put aside if we decide to switch to Archicad? Okay, really good question. And when it comes to time, somebody said that, time saved is money earned. So if I answer this question in a reverse manner, when you switch to Archicad, once you switch to Archicad, like all our guest speakers shared today, they are saving anything between 50 to 70% of time. So if you consider that saving of time, now let's say 70% you can save if you switch to Archicad. We just ask 70 hours from your time for training. So our training for Archicad is 70 hours for professionals. Having said that, what I recommend to you with my experience in this field for more than 10 years is we have an implementation program which covers training of Archicad for your team, finishing 2 projects in Archicad with our support and help, and creating your office standard template file as well. And this implementation program runs for 90 days. Please contact us to know more about this, and we'll be happy to help you throughout this successful transition. But you have to decide whether you want to invest the time now and save for future, or you want to wait till it is, like industry standard to switch to BIM, and then you have project and workload, and also you have to switch. So it's sooner the better. I think I'm answering your question. Let's move on to the next question. And I think this is the last question looking at the time constraint. Can you tell us more about Dimension Plus? Are you a training institute or a distributor for Archicad? Okay, I understand this question is coming with your market experience. Probably you have not seen such an organization. So let me tell you in a very short answer. We are one of the kind of the organization, I think in entire country, where we are distributors also, trainers also, BIM managers also, implementation specialists also, and we give you support as well. So imagine that if you switch to any software, you interact with someone who is giving you that software, and then you raise your question with someone else, some other organization. When you have training needs, you contact a third organization. Now imagine Dimension Plus is a one-stop solution for all your needs. You are contacting one organization. So basically it's business to business relationship where you contact us for all your needs, and we provide you with Archicad licenses, training, implementation, support, and cover your entire journey with BIMing with Archicad. I think we will have to stop our questions for the day, and we have many questions, but my team will get back to you on your email regarding your answers. So please bear with us. It was great to have all these questions, and I think we will have to. With this, BIM Meets 2021 comes to an end for the day. But this is a new beginning for all of us about being ready for the future. We shall keep empowering the design fraternity with our belief. Give designers reliable technology and they will design incredible buildings. I would like to thank all our guest speakers and our viewers for joining us today. Please visit our website www.dimensionplus.in for any further queries that you may have. We hope that you all enjoyed the evening as much as we enjoyed putting this up. Thank you, stay safe, and hope to see you soon.